Good afternoon. Welcome to this week's Training Minutes, brought to you by the Training Division. Today we're going to be talking about the Rescue 42 Telecrib Junior Struts. Every engine in the fire department has two located on a suppression apparatus. On there you have the cluster, the hook at the top, you'll notice. Opposite side is the ratcheting system. These 42 struts have a capability of holding 5,000 pounds weight. In the closed position are about 41 inches, fully extended at 69. Today we're going to be setting them up for a prop position. If you notice the prop position is probably the most common one we'll be utilizing. One, we do not need a purchase point at the top. We keep it connected in order to make that triangle. Our personnel looked down, he didn't find an initial anchor point. Sometimes that initial anchor point might be easier just to relocate it to the dirty side of the vehicle. As he goes around, he has this cluster. He has multiple different options with that cluster. The hook, the J hook, or the T. Once he locates his stable surface, he goes down, ratchet, begin bringing up all the slack he can prior to beginning the ratcheting factor. You don't want to start too soon with your ratchet, so once it's drawled up, start ratcheting your ratchet. Begin to tension it. As you begin to tension, you're just bringing enough tension in order to bring that triangle, draw it directly into the apparatus. If you notice, there is no purchase point at the top. You don't need it. If you have one, that's great. If not, doesn't require. When you're done ratcheting, make sure you bring the handle up into the lock position. One, it keeps a trip hazard so that there's nothing sticking out, projecting beyond that. As we move around to the dirty side, we're going to be setting up our strut opposite, ideally, from our prop strut on the clean side of the vehicle. Once again, we can set it up in either one of our two fashions. It does not matter. In this particular scenario, we're going to set it up for a lift strut. Although we're not lifting, we're still going to set it up. What do we need? We need a purchase point at the top, set up our angle, utilize our cluster, slide it down to the end, using the triangle to hook into our hook. Use an appropriate cluster to make that connection somewhere underside the vehicle. Once we make that position, come back to the rear, begin to take up all your slack out of the strap. Once that's completed, now begin your ratchet. One thing we want to remember as we apply tension, we want to just apply tension to the strap system, moving the ratchet handle to the lock position, making sure it's secured and locked. If we need to, because of a soft surface, we can break out our spike, place in the rear hole, and use a flat-headed axe and or a sledgehammer to position in place. So here's another setup we may have. It could happen on any scene. Due to limited access to the clean side of the vehicle, which is the top side, we can do a support strut or a lifting strut set up on either end of the vehicle. All right, if you notice what we have them in the lifting setup. We had a capture point at the top, attachment point at the bottom. Both of our struts are actually set up that way. We could set them up for prop, but in this particular scenario, they're both set up the same way. And we're going to do a tie back. Get a piece of chain out, also locating, ideally, good anchor points. All right, bring that back to a capture point in the middle, and now we can get our ratchet strap. Every engine has ratchet straps, and if we're able to position our engine ideally in a great spot, an FTO or battalion chief vehicle, we make that connection, we begin to ratchet and draw that back, and all of the energy is now brought back into the struts. Well, some great advantages we have to this: one, all the support's on this side, and it leaves the clean side, which is typically where our patients are, completely accessible, no struts in the way, and our extrication can happen very quickly and easily. This could be other situations where we just don't have access to put a strut on that side. Once again, this is the Hot Minutes from the SLC FD Training Division. Keep it safe out there.